Hi, Stephanie. I don't see you. Oh, there you are. Hi.
Wait. Hold on.
Okay.
Wait, hold on.
Okay, good.
Hello, is it just me?
Yeah. so,
Okay,
so,
well,
so there's 5 other students and they all last minute, they're like, oh, actually we're going to St. Patrick's. So like they ordered the recording. So they're just going to do the recording. So it's just you and me.
that's fine.
Huh?
Wait, what? Hold on. I'm trying to. There, my AirPods work.
Okay.
Oh, they did? They ordered the recording?
Yeah, they ordered the recording. Yeah. So they're going to do that and they're enjoying St. Patrick's. So it's just you and me.
Perfect.
Great. So you
I
asked
did my best.
all the questions that you want. You found your colors. Good job.
Yes.
Okay, super.
I don't really. Well, I tried my best.
Oh, it's perfect. No, that looks awesome. Yeah. Very good.
I did. Sorry, my little niece was. Remember my little niece? She was like, I bought her T-shirts, and my mom's like, "Does this fit?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know." That's funny. Anyways, okay.
Okay, so this is our painting today. I'm just gonna go over my supplies quickly. So I have a size 14 round brush.
Okay. Yeah,
Then I
that.
have a size max round, size 6. And
Yeah.
if you want these, you know, you could get 10% off with the code Art by Bianca at checkout on kingartco.com. And then for the paints, I have 3 different colors. So they're all here. You could see that there's this light one, which I sent you a picture of, which is this one. And then I have the second.
Is that yellow?
It's not yellow, it's green, but it's very, very light. So I think you had sent me a picture of one called Parrot. I think that's the one.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's it.
It looks yellow from your picture.
I know it looks yellow on the camera, but it's not. It's green.
4.
Okay, so this green and this green. So 3 different greens. If you don't have the exact same ones, don't worry. It's still going to look nice. As long as you apply different greens in different areas, it's going to look good.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to get started with some exercises just for the wet on wet. Did you did the feather class with me or not? I don't remember.
No, I didn't.
Okay, so the technique we're using today is actually from the feather class. So I'm going to go over it. Quickly.
Hold on, let me get a paper.
Oh, that's Kimba. Yeah.
Okay, so let's just do some little squares. Doesn't matter how big. Actually, let's do them pretty small because our leaves are kind of small. So I just want to practice this quickly. Technique. And it's fairly simple. Are you there? Okay, awesome.
Yeah, I'm here. I was just grabbing a pencil.
No worries. Okay, so what you want to do first is grab a light shade of the second green that I have right here. So this one. Okay, I'm just gonna mute you just because it's a bit noisy, okay? But
perfect, yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah, just unmute yourself. Okay, so this shade right here, we want it slightly transparent, but not too much. Then we want to fill the whole square with it. So just do that for now. Okay, and if you look at my painting, you'll notice that there are a few different bleeds. So the way I got those was working wet on wet. So what is that? It means that we're starting with a wet layer, and then we're going in with a second stroke of color. So I'm going in with a lot of green, putting a dot in the center first, and then I put a few little dots on the side. So let me just show you what that looks like. Got to make sure your little square is still wet, and then you go into your second green, which is this one, the darker one, right? Make sure it's really dark on your brush so you can test it out first. And then what you want to do is just add 1 dot to the center of your square, and you'll see how that bleeds so nicely. Do you see that? You should get something that looks similar to that If you have a lot of water in your brush, it's going to bleed a lot. So try to not have too much water on your brush when you put this dot. Okay.
I'm trying to decide which green, dark green to use. I think you're using palms, right?
I think this one has a number on it. That's 95 or is it 96? 96. So I think
I
it's
don't think I
96.
have
I'm not
that
sure
one.
which one that is.
I don't have that one.
Okay, but it doesn't matter. As long as you've got like a darkish green, it's gonna work fine. Even if you have a green that's like this, if you use this more concentrated, it's still gonna look really nice. So don't worry about what shade.
The middle one, what number is it?
This one?
The middle one.
This middle one.
That one, yeah.
This one I have is, I don't have a number on this one. Yeah.
Huh.
I think it's what I wrote in the email. So check your email.
18. Yeah.
But don't worry, Stephanie, if you don't have the exact same colors.
I know.
Yeah, it's still gonna look good. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna practice. Yeah.
What you want to do after that is play with little dots. So to make the little dots that I created here, what you want to do is just make tiny, tiny, tiny dots with the tip of your brush. So I'm just doing them here just to show you, just making a cute little design like 1, 2, 3. I just put 3 little dots and you'll see that if it's dry, like in this little, you see that little dot, you could see that the paint was dry behind, so it didn't spread. So you have to make sure when you're doing these clovers that the water is still wet in the background, that it hasn't dried up. Okay, so we're gonna do a second one. This time I want to mix 2 different greens. So I'm gonna mix the more yellow one and then any of the 2 darker ones you pick. It's really not that important with the colors. So don't be, don't be stressed if you don't have the exact same green as me. It's not super important. So you just want to mix 2 of these, get a green that's a little more yellowy. That's why I'm using the top color here. And I'm just going to fill the background once again, same thing. Okay, and for the bleed, you're always using the darkest green. So clean my brush. Now I'm going back into my really dark green, remember, so this one here. Okay, you want to get a lot on your brush, as much as you can, and then just do 1 little dot in the center. That's going to be the bleed in the center of our clover. And then for the little ones that you see here, you just use the tip of your brush and you're doing tiny dots like this with the tip of your brush. Okay, so it looks like that. Just little dots. And obviously I'll be guiding you once we get to our painting. I'll show you exactly where those go.
Let me practice that again. I think I put way too much water.
Show me. Yeah. So if you have too much water, your bleeds are not going to turn out well. So you need just a bit of water.
Okay, let me move my.
Okay, I'll show you again. Just watch. So your background looks like this. And you don't want too much water. Once you put your second color, you really want almost no water on your brush. Okay, mostly just the color, and then just a dot, and you'll see it'll bleed nicely. If you have too much water on your brush, like what you did, look, Steph, I'm gonna show you. So if you have too much water on your brush and you make a dot, it's gonna look huge. You see what happened? It like overpowered. So that's what happened to you. You had too much water. Look, see, too much water. It's going all over the place. That's why when you do the dot here, you need to make sure your brush is pretty dry. So remove all the excess water. You see, I'm removing it here on my paper. I'm going into my green. And then look, I'm just gonna add 1 little dot right here. There, and you see, it's bleeding, but it's not going crazy like that one. It's more controlled. Why? Because I have less water on my brush this time. Okay, so this is water control. If you do get some crazy bleeds, sometimes I get them in my clovers. Don't worry about it. It still looks good. It can happen sometimes. We are going to do these pretty quickly because I want it to be a loose painting. I don't want it to be too perfect, So if you look at my painting, you'll see some of my bleeds were like really crazy. Like this one here was crazy. Like this was a bit crazy here. So you'll notice they're not all perfect. You know, sometimes I use too much water in some, sometimes it was the perfect amount. Like this one here is the perfect amount, but I like mixing it up. I like sometimes having a lot of water. So having a big bleed like here, and sometimes less, and then having like a small bleed. So we're gonna play around with that in our final painting, just because I think it's a really fun look. So finish your little practice and we're gonna get started with our clovers.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Good, good. Okay, Steph, are you ready to start? We're gonna get started with our
Yes,
final.
to start.
Excellent. So we're gonna take our medium green, so the one that's here, okay? And let's just start filling a few of these clovers very freely. I'm gonna bring this closer so you can see a bit better. Okay, and let's start with this one on the side, okay? Right here. So how do you want to do that? Okay, that's way too much green, first of all. So I'm just gonna remove, just mix it with some water so that it kind of blends more. And what you want to do is fill in all 3 leaves at once with enough water so that it bleeds. So we're filling all 3. Okay, let's get a little more color than this. And you're going over, you see there's an overlap here, you're going over it. So just ignore the overlap. Just color this whole thing. Okay, we're gonna take our dark green now. Try and do this kind of quickly. You don't want to take too long because otherwise it's gonna dry. So I take this second green, the dark one, and I just put a dot in the center like I showed you. So 1 dot and it'll bleed. However, you'll see I'm shining my clover in the light. You'll see it's already dry on those 2 leaves. So I'm just gonna add more water because once again, I explained to you, I need these to be wet so that the bleed happens, right? We want it to have that nice bleed. So let's just put a bit of water here, make sure this one has enough. We're gonna go back in the center and put a dot of that dark green. Okay, and now we're gonna do some little dots. You'll notice all these little dots we're doing on all these clovers are just like in a circular motion, okay? So you see what I'm showing you here? I'm just like doing the circle with a free hand. And this is how we're gonna apply the little dots of green. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add them now. Very easy, very fun, not doing it in any specific, you know, pattern or way, or like applying pressure differently. You see this bleed is much bigger than those ones. So just have fun with it, okay? Good job. So if it is dry, you can always go in with your dark green and just apply the dots like that. It's not such a big deal. It's not gonna like ruin your painting or anything. Okay, so feel free to do that. Okay, let's keep painting these. So we're gonna play around with our green as we go along, and I'll show you how we do that. So for this one, I know it looks dark here, but it's actually very light. It's just a lot of water. And I put a tiny bit of the yellowy green, okay? Remember the first green that I showed you? So I mixed a tiny bit of that with my second green now, okay? So just a little mix of this and this. And now I'm filling this clover with it. Okay, so the fun thing about this painting is playing around with the greens and getting different greens for different clovers. Okay, don't forget, once it's wet, you want to go directly to your dark green Okay, and you want to put a dot in the center. Okay, and then your little dots on the side, just a few, like 1, 2, 3. 3 is perfect. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 on each leaf. And that's it, you just let it bleed, okay? Okay, feel free to
You're
show me.
so pigmentized. I'm like trying to get the hang of like how much water.
I know it does take a few
It's
tries.
like, wow.
Yeah.
No, but I'm impressed by this brand. Like,
Oh yeah, it's great, very good quality for sure.
like I'm just like, here. I want to show you, but yeah, I like this one. Let me see this. Here.
Oh, good job.
This
Yeah,
one.
that looks really nice. You see, the green is beautiful.
Yeah, I like it.
Very good.
But wow, it's like super. So the way, do you use a lot of water in your brush for these, or not that much, right?
No, not so for the background, I'm using a lot of water, but for this,
Okay.
for the little dots, no water, almost no water.
Do you dry your brush a lot first and then dip it?
Yeah, so usually
Okay.
like I'll just remove water on my sheet of rough paper, but if you have a
Okay.
paper towel, you can do that. So you can have
Okay, yeah, that's what I was wondering. Do you
yeah, and you
remove
can
it
just
from the
dab
paper
it like
towel?
that. Okay.
Okay, perfect.
So we have a lot more to practice, so don't worry, you're gonna get the hang of it. Okay, we're gonna play around with our greens. So let's try and fill like 2 of these at once. Okay, so we're gonna do like this one and this one. I want us to fill both of them quickly because we have like so many to fill up. So 1, and don't worry if your painting is, you know, if you're going outside the lines or anything, don't worry about it. It's all gonna come together so nicely once it's finished. Okay, so we've got 1 there. And now let's also fill this one at the same time. Okay, remember to mix your greens, play with your greens. So I mixed here the light green again with the darker green, just to get a clover that's slightly different. And I'm gonna do this throughout the painting. I'm gonna play around with different colors. I want all these clovers to be slightly different. So just have fun playing with the colors. Okay, and I should actually be using my bigger brush for the bigger ones. So technically I could just go in like this quickly with the big brush, it's faster. And then I could go over this one just to make sure you want it to be wet, right? So just make sure they're both wet. And we're always using the dark green to do our detail. So always go to the dark green for that. We do 1 center dot, okay, and another center dot here. And for this, remember, you're using lots of paint and almost no water. So keep that in mind. Lots of paint. Lots of paint, and same for the dots. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Same here. And you see how fast it goes when you do 2 at once. It's really fun because then you can go, you know, up, down, left, right, and kind of play around with them. Okay, I'm gonna keep going and I'm still playing around with my colors. I'm using my big brush now, just because it is slightly easier to fill these. It goes faster. So you could try using your big brush now to see if you prefer it. And you could do 2 or 3 at once even. Like you could do this one. You see it's really wet, so I can start this one also. Okay, if you have too much water, like you can see, I've got a lot of water on mine right now. So I can always remove the water just by making sure my brush is dry. Going in, it will absorb. If you put your dry brush, it's going to absorb the water, and then just keep dabbing it onto the paper towel. So absorb, 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 and clean. Okay, so that's my trick for when there's too much water. Okay, next step. We want to add our dark green detail to these two clovers. So I start with the center with just a dot of very, very dark green. Right, just like that. Okay, and then little dots on all the leaves. So like 3 dots on each one. 1, 2, 3. Make sure you have enough paint so that it's nice and dark. And 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm going to give you a minute to finish this up. How's it going? Excellent, you're doing great. It's going to be so pretty once it's full. Okay, let's keep going. So you're starting to see how I mix the greens, right? And how sometimes I put just one green, sometimes I mix it with the yellow green, and you want them all to be slightly different colors. That's what's going to make it really fun, okay? It's going to look like this after, like all different greens. So let's keep going. Okay, and for now, skip whatever's overlapping, just skip it for now, because I don't want you to mix those colors just yet. So I'm going here now. And I'll also do this one here. Okay, now I'm grabbing my small brush for the detail, going into my dark green and dot in the center, dot in the center of this one. So you see how I do 2 at once? It makes the process much faster. And it's also way more fun, in my opinion, to work on 2 at once. Okay, so you see how all the different greens are coming together. It's looking really good. We're going to keep going. So now, you know, in some, I'll just put one green. So like in this one, I'll just put my medium green and that's it for now. And I'll do the same thing here. Okay, and don't worry if you're not doing, you know, the exact same greens where I'm putting mine. don't worry, it shouldn't be exactly like mine. Your painting is still going to look great. You might have different colors in different areas, but that's what will make your painting unique. So just have fun with the process, have fun playing around with your colors. You got some great paints. You got the art philosophy, which is awesome. That's what I'm using. And they're highly, highly pigmented, which is great. They look really, really good. Like you're seeing now, I'm sure. And yeah. How's it going?
The only thing I'm having trouble is my paper is drying so fast. I'm in Arizona and it's super hot here.
Oh, yeah.
So bear with me if I'm, so it is like,
So-
I was like,
So
oh my
like if
gosh.
some of them are dry, you could still do your dots. It's not going to be a big
Okay.
deal. Yeah, don't worry about it. It's still gonna look good. Like you'll notice like in some areas I painted on dry and it still looks good, you know, like this was on dry.
Yeah.
So it's not such a big deal.
It's good
Don't worry
to
about it.
know.
Okay, I'm still skipping whatever's overlapped. I'm skipping it because I don't want those colors to bleed together. And you'll see why after. For now, we're just doing all the single, you know, leaves that are not, you know, that don't have like an overlapping leaf next to them. So I'm going here now. So we have a smaller one on the top right. So I'm just going to use my small brush for that one. And fill it up. So I'm always playing with my colors. For this one, I mixed the medium green with some of the light green. And you get this nice medium color. Okay, and I'm going to apply the same color here on this one. Okay, and once you're done, go to your dark green. Make sure you don't have too much water on your brush so that you don't get a crazy bleed. You want the bleed to be quite concentrated like what I have here. So you want not a lot of water. Now put your dot. And if your brush is too dry, get a little bit of water. Just make sure it's not too much. There we go. And then the little dots.
There, I finally got the concept.
Good job. Tell me.
Yes. Here, it's right.
Yeah,
This
you got
one.
it. You got it. Yeah, turn it around. I don't want it to spill, but it looks awesome. Good job. Good job. Yeah,
Finally,
it takes some practice to understand the ratio between the water and the pigment, but once you get it, it's like, you know, you're good now. So just keep applying that to all of them. And you really want these to be so playful and fun, you know, like I don't want you to be so specific and your dots are perfect. Like, no, I want you to like mess them up a little. Like, look, this one's all like crooked and like the dots are all weird, but it's all going to look so cool together, you know? So have fun with it. It's really the purpose. And we have one more independent one down here. So I'm going to put some color in that for now. And once you're done all the independent ones, because now we only have overlapping ones left. You see, I've only left the ones that overlap. So once you have only those left, I'm going to ask you to just dry this with a hair dryer. Just so that when we go to our overlapping ones, we don't get any crazy bleeds. We don't want it to bleed. So this one's actually a bit dark. I'm going to remove some of that pigment just with my brush. There we go. Now dark green. And dots. Okay, so you should have something that looks kind of like this so far. I'm going to give you a few minutes to finish up. How's it going? Are you almost done all the first ones? Or do you need a bit more time?
I'm good. The only ones I have are the overlap.
Excellent. Okay, so
I think
so
so.
go to your bathroom, just dry this up quickly. Okay, put the hair dryer like 2 feet away from the painting so that you don't smudge anything.
I might just go outside and see what it's, yeah.
Because it's so dry.
No, yeah, it is. Arizona is like,
Okay, yeah, so just go outside then.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Okay, you're done. Let's see. It's dry.
Yeah, it's dry. I literally went outside and it dried fast.
That's amazing. You're so lucky. Okay, so now we're gonna just continue filling all the rest up. There's like 6 left, so let's just do that. And yeah, play around with your colors, whichever colors you prefer, do the mixes you want. Like I'm doing a little bit of my light green with my medium green, and I'll fill this one here. Okay, for the overlap, just go right over it, okay? Don't be scared, just go paint over it. Don't go too many times. If you wash, if you, move your brush too many times, you're gonna wash away the paint from the other leaf. So just do it quickly when you go on top of a leaf. Okay, I'll do it again here. So 1, 2, and 3, just go over once. That's good. Okay, and let's put our dark green here. Dark green. And you're just acting as though there's nothing behind. You're pretending that overlap isn't there. You're ignoring it and you're just painting your clovers the way you did with all the others. Same thing. Okay, same thing for all the others. Okay, see, so I just did these ones and now I'm going in with my dark green. I'll do my center dot for both first, and then just add my little dots here and here as well. Okay, you see how it's all filling up, and once we add our stems, it's all going to come together. So we'll do the stems at the very end. Let's continue. We have 2 left. So just doing it with my big brush, filling each leaf pretty quickly, not going over it too many times. I don't want the other leaf to wash away, you know what I mean? So I'm just going over it once and going to the next leaf. Just like that, perfect. And then dark green. Okay, and look, Steph, I just want to show you something. So like on this one, I actually forgot. Did you see I forgot to do the dots? So I was telling you before, it's not such a big deal. If you aren't able to do the wet on wet and it's drying too fast, just go over with dark green and just do your dots on the dry. It's not really gonna show, like no one's gonna really see this. So you see, I'm just going over, making the little dots on the dry, and it still looks good, right? You can't even really tell that it's dry. You can't really tell that that's not a bleed looking at it from far. So you can always do that at the end. Okay, let me know when you're done the last one, and then I'll tell you what the next step is. Oh, looks so good. Very nice.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's looking great. So now we just have our stems. The way we're going to do that is just use the tip of our small brush. We're going to use a medium green for this, so we can like kind of mix these two colors together and make them fairly dark. And we're just going to go over each line. Okay, and that's it. And then we'll be done. So, okay, so get a medium green, something like this. You see that? And then we're just going to go over these lines with the tip of our brush and just pull, pull, pull. Just follow the lines that I sketched and do that for all of them. All the ones that have a line. Oh my. Okay, so you see how quickly I'm doing them. I'm basically just following the sketch that I drew and using the tip of my brush and just pulling down these stems. And whatever's left in pencil that you don't like at the end, as long as it's not, you know, as long as there's no paint over it, you can always erase it. So if you know, if your line is a little bit crooked and you're seeing the pencil next to it, you can erase that after everything is dry. Okay, I have like 3 more. I'm just going to turn my paper to the side because I just find it easier sometimes to get the lines when I turn it. Okay, and that's it. I've done all of mine, so I'm just going to wait for you to finish. And you should have a painting that looks similar to this.
I think, yeah.
How'd it go? Oh, so cute. Are they clapping for you?
No, yes, yeah. No. My sister came, she's like, oh my gosh, they're watching tennis, my little niece.
Oh,
She's clapping.
it sounded like they were clapping for you.
Yeah. They should.
They should.
Oh, I forgot one that it was not noticed. The little dots. There, yeah. I like this.
Show me. Okay, I'm just gonna turn my camera around. Oh, it's so cute. You did really, really well. And don't forget, if ever you're missing a few dots, you can always go back once it's dry. You know, I did that here and you can't even really tell, you know, it's like,
yeah,
exactly. So like you can always go back and just do a few dots if you feel like you want more. Like if I wanted to, I could go back here, you know, because this one really bled like crazy.
Yeah,
I kind of like it, so I'm gonna leave it as it is. And that's it. So I guess we could take our picture together. Why not, right? Whoops. Okay, smile. Excellent. Okay, well, good job, Steph. I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
But it was fun.
No, that's fine. That's perfect. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, you too. Are you going to celebrate later on also or no?
Maybe not. I just sold my car. So that's why I came to Arizona to sell I had a car here. So, but I might.
Okay. Okay, good. Okay, well, have fun.
You have a
Thanks
nice
for joining.
celebration. Thank you.
Yeah, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.